guys, welcome to Himology. And on this episode, I have live in the temple Miss Shea Shafer, Tantric Priestess, 19 years of experience, many, many lifetimes. Woohoo!
Mm.
And we are continuing on with Wisdom Bomb number 3. Oh, and by the way, in case you don't know me, I'm Sherry James. I help men avoid ED medications, get off of them, or in some cases, get them to work with my holistic approach to healing erectile dysfunction. All right, Wisdom Bomb number 3. Why male G-spot doubles pleasure?
That's reason enough to engage and find out about your G-spot men and women too, for that matter. It does double the pleasure. It does add in those bass notes of pleasure. So imagine music without the bass notes. That's what you've been experiencing so far. Now all of a sudden we're going to add these deep bass notes of pleasure, and it's like,
Womp.
oh.
We're gonna add the We're gonna add the womp to your pleasure right here.
It makes a huge difference. Like I noticed the difference between the two because it's coming from so much more of a deeper place. There's this satisfying thing about it that's therapeutic because the G spot is intertwined with sexual healing. So we joke about when you have G spot involved in the sexual experience, because the body is so masterful and it just can release a lot of like your baggage that's just ready to leave the system.
Emotional baggage.
Yeah. So that's why we talk about it in reference to it's like the equivalent of having a year of talk therapy when the G spot's involved in sexuality, because there's this deep release, like on an emotional, physical, everything level. And so afterward, I just feel like, wow, that just really hit the spot. Like that felt so deep.
No pun intended. Ba-bing.
So, it's something that, of course, we want everyone to experience. And Sherry and I both have 19 years experience each. Like you've got two experts here that know our stuff. Wouldn't you want to pick our brain? So we're sharing it today so that you can have access to this kind of secret mystery information.
Like, because which we're essentially talking about is having a female penetrate a male
With my
right?
finger.
Which men aren't used to getting penetrated by straight men are not used to getting penetrated, period, and they're not used to getting unless it's maybe orally, but not down there.
Yeah, and so this is where, and even penetration, it's a little bit softer than penetration because the back door can kind of hurt if you try to penetrate
you gotta know what you're
So,
doing.
yeah, so it's a very subtle art that I teach clients around because, it's not rocket science, but it also has to be done right.
It's an
Otherwise, your
art.
partner will go, no, thank you. So anyway, it's something where we start very subtle and you let the body open naturally because it wants more because it feels so good. And then, once you have a lot of experience, you can add another finger, etc.
A toy.
And this is where like strap-ons and dildos come in when you're advanced.
If you really want to get your freak on, a fist.
I had a client that could handle that.
Back in the day, I had one as well.
Yeah.
Yes, it's
so erotic.
Very enlightening. Very, I'm like, oh, okay, all right.
Talk about sexual healing. There's some serious sexual releasing happening there. Yeah, it was impressive.
Yeah, yes. The person that I worked with actually was paralyzed from the waist down, and that's the only way he could have an orgasm. When you take the little blue pill for erectile dysfunction, you are a customer for life. When you work with me, you're a client for 3 months, and we actually heal it. The choice is yours. Sign up for your free video consultation.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Fascinating.
But I love that he was so dedicated to like men are so committed to having orgasms. They're like, well, I can't walk, but what can I do here?
Oh.
So that's commitment.
Yeah, everyone deserves to be able to reclaim this part of their body and experience that kind of healing and pleasure. So keep in mind, I know a lot of times you guys are motivated to come in because of the pleasure, but it's actually very deeply healing too. You get both. And not to mention educational and empowering and giving you more confidence around your body, how you're able to perform the way you want to with the techniques, giving you, because you just understand it and you understand it all better. And then not only are you able to perform at a higher level, but you know so much more than the typical person out there and can impress the ladies with that. Yeah, don't you want to do that? Of course.
And it adds a lot. It adds, yes, the bass note, right? The womp, but also it adds so much more intensity to when there's also ejaculation occurring. It adds way more. Would you agree?
Well, yeah, because we're involving a whole part of the body
prostate
that normally is just sitting there dormant, not being included. Oh, and so, this is like your back door. And women have a front door, and then we all have, like the clitoris part that's the high note, right? Or the head where the high note is. So we want to combine all those things. And this is what I have coined the Trinity Method as far as, teaching men how to do this with women is when you include all three of those things. And now,
yes, I had the Trinity.
Yeah.
Maybe I was with someone you trained. I don't know, but I've definitely had I didn't know it had a name.
Well, I just named it, but then
as a woman, I do recommend receiving the Trinity Method.
Well, also, I recently have coined the quantum method, right? Because that's because I recently, and Sherry has had this experience too, had my first cervical orgasm, which is a whole different deal. So that's a fourth like pleasure point to access as well that totally activated me. Like I'm different after that. That happened.
And I've had those as well. And put it this way, guys, you remember the man or men that gave you that.
I remember the date, February 1st, 2025. I'm a different woman.
She came over my house the next day and her voice had changed. And I'm like, what happened to you? She's like, I had a cervical orgasm.
Wow. Who'd have thought? And this is the thing, people. We've been in this business for a long time, almost
We're like
20 years.
OG original goddesses, okay?
So you'd think if anybody would know about this, it would be us. And yet it's not talked about in all the Tantra schools I have been to. They didn't make it a thing. This needs to be a thing because, oh my God, that was powerful activation. And we need to coin a phrase for this activation because it's not necessarily, I don't know if it's Kundalini activation. It was just a very specific part of my core that got activated because it's deeper inside the womb. And so anyway, the fact that they didn't talk about it or like make a big deal out of it in all these Tantra schools just amazes me because it is a big piece of the story.
So what I'm hearing is we've got some deep esoteric tantric knowledge going off in Sarasota.
Oh my God.
Florida. Well, thank you so much.
Yes.
We are going to have your information down below if somebody would like to work with Miss Shea and obviously work with me as well. So signing off, think about that G-spot.
Yeah.
Hey you, hey guy, who's learning about sexual health? Mixed in with some Tantra, mixed in with some 5 elements of Chinese medicine and some Western medicine. I want to let you know something. I would love it if you would hit my subscribe button and the notification bell. That way, you're going to know when new content is posted every Friday.